Hi there, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Georgie, I'm an actor, I've performed in the West End, and I started this channel to share my tips, tricks and insights about the performing arts industry with you guys. So I do loads of backstage vlogs, song covers, audition advice videos, day in the life. You name it, I've probably done it. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, click the subscribe button and don't forget to turn your notification bell on so that you don't miss any of my videos. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all things West End auditions, and I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things that might surprise you about them. Now, these are all things that I really wish that I had known before I started auditioning for West End shows, and I feel like that's why I started this channel. I want to share these things with you guys so you're prepared, and also I think it's quite interesting just to know what goes on behind the scenes. So if you want to hear 5 things about West End auditions that might surprise you, just keep on watching the video. The first thing that a lot of people don't realise when it comes to auditioning for West End shows is, even if you are like a proper veteran of the West End, you've been in loads of shows, you've worked a lot, you're really right for a certain show, or it's a show that you really want to be in, you still might not get an audition. There's no like definites when it comes to auditions. Even if you have an agent, you've been in loads of shows, you've worked a lot, even if you've worked with a team before, you still might not get an audition. It's not like anyone can kind of just see an audition, sign up to it and go. It's a lot harder than that. There's so much else that goes into it. Maybe I'll make another video chatting about that in a bit more detail, but yeah, that was something I don't think I really realized before I got into the industry. And it's something that a lot of people, when I speak to them and I mention it, they're really shocked by. They're like, oh, well, you know, say for example, Les Mis is auditioning. You love Les Mis and you'd be really good in that. They might be right, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you will actually even get to audition for the show. So it's one thing like auditioning and getting a part, which is just like so hard anyway, but sometimes you don't even get in the room for the audition in the first place. And that can be whether you have just graduated, whether you've trained, whether you haven't trained, whether you've worked loads, whether you've done loads of shows, but you haven't done loads of shows. It's very dependent on a lot of things and it's not a given. Another thing is, even if you have been in the process for a long time for a show, you've got to the finals for the show, even, you know, first round finals, and you're waiting to find out if you've, say, got a recall, or even, you know, you might have got to finals and you're waiting to hear if you've got a part in the show. Sometimes, and this doesn't happen as often now, which is a really good thing, but sometimes you just might never hear anything. You might spend ages kind of holding out hope, thinking maybe I'll get a phone call next week, the week after, in a month.
Many months later.
And then before you know it, the show's been cast and you're not in it. You might find out that you didn't get a part on social media. Just as a forewarning. Another thing about auditions for West End shows that often surprises people is that they're quite unpredictable in their structure. I think a lot of people assume that there's kind of one process where you dance first, then you sing, then you do scenes, and then, you know, it's the finals and da-da-da-da-da. It really depends. Some shows you can have like 9 to 12 rounds for, a lot. Like, not often the big shows have a lot of rounds, but then sometimes you can literally go in twice and get a job. It's so dependent. You kind of never really know what to expect. Normally with the bigger shows, I would expect there to be quite a few rounds, just because there's a lot of pieces to fit together and there's a lot of stuff that they need to see. But yeah, it really can depend. So you kind of have to be prepared for anything. So don't assume that, say you're going for like a really singy show, that you're going to sing first. You just never know. I think it's just best to kind of expect the unexpected and be prepared for every eventuality. Another thing that a lot of people are surprised by, which I didn't realize that people didn't know this as much, which is probably, you know, quite close-minded of me. I didn't realize that a lot of people thought you just sung material from the show for the auditions, but actually that is quite often not the case. Usually, again, really dependent. Usually, if you're going up for like a singing role, you will take 2 of your own songs. And by own songs, I mean material from your repertoire that is appropriate for the show. And then further down the line, you will sing songs from the show or songs that the part that you're up for sings in the show. So yeah, that's normally the way around it goes. However, sometimes you will just go straight in and sing material from the show. Again, it really depends, but have those other songs prepared just in case, because you never know. Number 4 is that you might not end up actually auditioning for the part that you originally started auditioning for. You might start the process auditioning for one role, you might do a few auditions, you might do one audition, you might do the whole process, and the team might realize at some point that they actually see you more as another part, and then you have to learn all different material and come back and try and become this other character. So it's kind of like again, expecting the unexpected. You know, prepare as much as you can for that one character, but you never know, like they might think, oh, actually, we want her to audition for this other part. And that is something that can happen at any stage of the process. Number 5, and this applies to shows that recast every year. So for example, the longer running shows like Les Miserables, Phantom of the Opera, those types of shows that are auditioning quite frequently, they might do auditions, you know, for like all of these parts, and you might be auditioning for one of these parts in the show, and you might be going through all the rounds for the audition, but then the person who is playing the role in the show may not actually end up leaving, and so there's actually no part for you. So you could go through like an audition process, but then actually find out by the end of it that there's not actually even a part available, which is something I think I definitely didn't realize for a while, that that's how it worked. But they kind of have to audition just in case, but then yeah, then there might not actually even be a part available for you. Again, this is really dependent on the show and on the process and on like, you know, what's going on and that like individual situation. But that is something that I've known to happen, that's happened to me, and that has happened to friends of mine. And yeah, it's something I think is good to be prepared for and know that that is a possibility. So there you go, there's just 5, maybe 6 little things about West End auditions that might surprise you. Let me know if any of these did surprise you. I would really love to know. Let me know if you knew any of them, and I would also love to know things that have surprised you about auditions, West End or otherwise, so leave me a comment down below. I always love looking through them and chatting with you guys in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very, very soon for another video.